Hey guys, thank you for joining me on their fight story. I have Dinis Paiva with us. Dennis, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
How did you get into MMA?
I boxed in middle school and I did some wrestling all throughout high school, and I really loved wrestling and MMA, like the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, really became popular during those years. And while I was involved with wrestling, Matt Hughes was one of those wrestlers converted to MMA fighters, and he was real popular, and it gained my attention. But I think it even started long before that. I always wanted to be a superhero as a kid, and this is probably as close as you can get to to being one of those.
Um, when did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Uh it's weird, right? So when I got involved in fighting, I just was drawn to the sport itself. And I wanted to fight. Like I always liked the aspect of martial arts and competing and stuff, but it wasn't until I had wins and losses that when I was in it that I really kind of got like hook, line, and sinker. One of my coaches in high school used that term, hook, line, and sinker. So you could throw the bait out there, people would nip at it, but it wasn't until I really bit down and pulled. And I would say probably in my pro career, it was my third loss in my pro career is where three losses in a row. Probably should have quit at that point. 1-3 is not the best way to start your pro career, but it was at that point that I knew because of coming back from that loss that I really just I loved the sport, and there was nothing that was going to get me away from it. Not even three losses in a row.
How did your mom feel when you started fighting?
My mom has been one of my biggest supporters. She was involved and would come out to watch me wrestle when I was in high school and when I was boxing in middle school. So she's been as supportive as any mom could be from the jump. Um, and that's a question I guess I never really asked like how she felt like the first time because she's been watching me do it for so long. But I think she knows that it's always been a part of me. It's a part of the man I am today, and she's always supported that. She knows that through fighting, I've grown to be the best version of myself through the sport and through all aspects of it. So I don't think there was like an individual like point where she sat me down and said, "I don't know, this is for you," but she's always supported dreams. So shout out to my mom. She's one of my biggest fans, if not the biggest.
Yeah. How did you feel when you got that call?
The call was amazing. It obviously came short notice. All I knew, like when COVID hit, I was supposed to fight in April, and I was getting ready for that. And I made arrangements with one of my coaches, Jose Santos from Full Boxing, and we were doing strength and conditioning and working out boxing. And we were going and getting in the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a time slot that I could get to bed early enough and get up and get a good workout in before I went to work so that I could still find grappling, sparring, and jiu-jitsu time in the afternoons. And training once a day at this level is just not going to cut it. It doesn't work out too well. You got to double up your sessions, and in some cases triple up your sessions. So when COVID hit and he was able to find a way to keep the gym open for a very, 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 very small group of people, I was one of those guys, and I continued to train throughout the entire time. And getting up at 3:15 in the morning and going train from 4 to 6 and grinding that way, I kept myself in shape. So Calvin Cater had fought Jeremy Stevens, beat him, and then was the main event with Dan Ige. My manager Tyson is the manager of Calvin Cater, and right after that win, I reached out to him and just told him like, "Hey, my weight's down. I'm in the gym. I'm staying as ready as I can. And if something comes up, my name is there. Keep me in mind." And we actually had a fight opportunity that came up with Bellator a few weeks before this call came in, and all I got was the week before this last UFC card Saturday, 2 weeks ago now. Um, I got a call from him saying a lot of wacky stuff is going on in Vegas. There's an extremely long shot of a short notice fight, so just don't do anything foolish. Stay ready, keep your weight down. Don't do any heavy partying or anything like that. And I'll be in contact with you. That was on a Friday. That Wednesday, I got the call from him saying, "Listen, is an extreme long shot, but you could possibly be fighting this Saturday. I threw your name in the mix. Sean Shelby's looking for some guys. A lot of people falling out. It was Alex Caceres and Ricardo Lamas. They're looking for opponents for them." So that was Wednesday. Thursday morning, I get a call from Tyson, and he says, "Hey, Saturday is out of the question, but Sean Shelby likes what you got, and I've been putting your name in the hat for a while, and he wants to use you for the Contender Series." So that was when I found out that September 15th, I was fighting the Contender Series with no opponent at that point. It was just they had a slot for me to come on in. So 3 hours later, I got a name, contract sent to me, and that's really what took place. And then I made the official announcement Friday, the day after. So it's been what, 2 weeks,
Mhm.
2.5 weeks. Yeah, it's been crazy.
So exciting all at once. How did
All
you
right.
get your name?
First name was Sweetbread, the infamous question. It's definitely a unique one. So one of the guys I trained with years ago, Matt Santos, extreme ball buster, funny guy, and a really really great jiu-jitsu practitioner. Um, I didn't have a nickname, and I didn't, the best nicknames you don't pick for yourself; they get given to you. So throughout training with him, I went through like a series of roasts by him. Every day you get roasted and you get made fun of and picked on and stuff. And I was always getting named like different Portuguese names. I was like the Prince of Portugal. I was Punk Cage. I was Pop Sick. I was Flan Pudding. I was everything. And then it was the Portuguese Man of War, but I was the Portuguese Squid because I wasn't even a man yet. I was like this little jellyfish freaking kid coming up to the fight game. And I was getting ready for I had cut my hair short and I had obviously got a smaller head. And he's like, dude, your head's so tiny and like shiny. It looks like a little egg. He's like, oh my God, what's that bread they make with the egg in the middle? I'm like, oh, that's the master's father. That's the sweetbread. He's like, dude, that's your name. I was like, bro, no, like of all names, dude, don't call me that. Dude, that's like a and it's he would throw it out there, and I was getting ready to fight my last amateur fight with Cage Titans, and I fought Billy Giovanella. So I'm inside of the cage, and Matt knew the ring announcer. He's been involved in the sport for so long, and he called the guy over and was like, call him Sweetbread. So I'm getting ready to get my hands pumped up, like ready to go fight. And Dinis Paiva, Sweetbread. And I like look over, like, dude, you get stuck. So the fight goes on. I end up beating Billy and went on to go fight as a professional. And the name Sweetbread carried over, and the rest is history. And now here I am 10 years later. And depending where you know me from, if you're a family member of my family, they call me Junior. Like my mom will call me Junior, my sisters and my wife now. If you know me like publicly, you know me as Dennis. If you knew me through work, company I worked with for a long time, all the Brazilians, the Portuguese, the Hispanics, they call me Dinis. And if you know me through fighting, you know me as Sweetbread. So depending what you call me, depends me how you know me and where.
That's a good way to figure out who's who.
That's it. That's it. And it's funny because like I'm susceptible to all. So when you got that many names, like you hear your name a little more often than most, but I always will know Sweetbread is me. I don't think I'm ever gonna meet or know any other fighters with the name Sweetbread.
How has everything, like now that you're having the fight, how has that changed, like the way you trained, the way you've been working?
Nothing. So nothing changed really. The only thing that's changed is the timing. So like I told you before, I work full time. I work a full time job and a part time job, and I was working that part time job up until I got this call. In training, as often as I could. So I was training 6 days a week, sometimes getting double sessions in when I could, but no less than one session a day for 2.5 hours. The only thing that's changed since I got the call was working one day less and getting in the extra grappling and sparring sessions when I could. I flew out here to Vegas on Sunday, day before Memorial Day, and packed up all my computer monitors and my tower and everything. And I've been working from my hotel room 9 hours a day and finding time to train in the afternoon. With the time difference, it kind of worked out. At home, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in the gym at 4, and I work out for a couple hours and then work. Here in Vegas, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, working from 4:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, and then getting 2 sessions in from there. So that's what the only change is just the timing. But life has been the same. Still working, still training, smiling.
Are you expecting a finish as far as like submission or?
you know, I've been in this game long enough to know a lot of wacky things happen.
Yeah.
So something that was said to me that really resonated was mentioned by my manager Tyson, and he said that come fight night you can plan to do all these things, you can say you're going to do all this stuff, and you could in your head map all these things out, but there's actually only two things you're in control of come fight night, and that's how well you listen and how hard you try. And as simple as that may seem, it's just something that really stuck out. And It's two things that, he's right. It's the only two things I have control over. So I've been, quoted in the past saying, I'm going to go out there and knock this guy out. And it comes out to a decision. I've gone out there and said, I'm going to knock somebody out, and I've gotten choked out. You just never know where the chips may lay. And going to any fight, regardless of who you're fighting, what the matchup is, it's always 50-50. Um, all I can say is that I'm going to put on the performance of my career. I'm going to lay it all out there. And I think I'm going to be the best version of myself. And there's a lot of new tools I've been able to add to my repertoire that I'm going to finally be able to showcase. And on this platform, it's the time to make it happen. So I'm not going to go out there and say I'm going to knock anybody out. When I say I'm going to submit anybody, I'm just going to go out there and perform my heart out, listen well, and have fun.
That's the best thing you can do.
That's it. This is a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. And I don't ever want to look back with the woulda, shoulda, couldas, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel spiritually, physically, mentally, everything is absolutely completely in sync. And it kind of worked out well, having the short notice fight, because it's just really adjustments we've had to make to our camp. I've been working on so much as it is these last 9 months on my own that I've kind of been in camp, right? I haven't really taken the gas pedal, and I was supposed to fight in April. So it's kind of worked out really well. And I feel like I'm peaking right at the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a huge weight cut. I got my weight low enough that I'm gonna be able to cut all my weight by tomorrow afternoon into the night and go to sleep pretty much on weight. I'll wake up the next morning, maybe have a pound to 2 pounds to lose, if that. And that's only because I'm pushing it off as late as I can. I'm putting added stress on. And I think that's great. My opponent is a fairly larger guy. He's 6 feet. So he's lean, he's long, he's come down from 55. He's fought majority of his career at 55. So I'm sure he's worked out really hard and really like taking this opportunity if he wasn't ready. So that's one less thing I have to worry about is weight, and shape and everything else is unbelievable. I feel incredible. And this is the best version of me that I think anybody's going to see, the world's going to see. And hopefully my future boss, Dana White, will see.
The one thing that I'm going to miss is seeing your mom's reaction.
Well, you
know what I mean?
You want to know something crazy? A fun fact, right? So I was saying how my mom's been supportive throughout all of my martial arts career, from boxing, wrestling, and MMA. I have never lost with my mom in the audience. My mom has never seen me taking a loss. Not that I haven't lost in competition, or she hasn't watched on TV, but something about her being there, me knowing that I've been undefeated throughout my entire career, from, like I said, boxing, wrestling, everything. So that says a lot. My mom's my good luck charm. And
well,
although she's here, she's here in spirit.
She is, definitely. She's never leaving your corner. Doesn't, you know what I mean? She might not physically be there, but she is there.
She's an unbelievable woman. She's raised 3 kids of her own, and 2 that weren't. And we have a pretty fun, dysfunctional family. But we're a very, very tight family, and a lot of it comes from the love that she gave us, and keeping us all close as siblings. She's an incredible woman, incredible work ethic, and a beautiful soul. Very thankful for my mother and everything that she's been able to do for us. And as I grow older, the respect and the understanding of the struggles and everything, I value her more and more. She's an incredible woman. I love her so much.
Yeah, no, you can tell. You can tell. You could see it in your face, the way you talk about her, the way you carry yourself. Even when she's at your fights, you could see it. You know what I mean? It's like there's no doubt about it. It's an amazing thing that, it's sad that not many people have the privilege to have it. So I'm glad. So thank you to your mom for raising an amazing guy, an amazing fighter, and we'll be cheering for you all the way. Is there anything that you want to share with the fighters?
So one of the things that I've that I can relate to a lot of fighters, and I had a really ass backwards career where I maybe went pro too soon, and I was slightly mismanaged early on and ill prepared for some of my fights. This is a long road and journey. I've been in the game for 10 years. You have to learn how to lose in order to learn how to win. And not to say there aren't undefeated fighters out there like the Israel Adesanyas and whoever else is out there undefeated. I can't think about it off the top of my head, but they're there, right? They exist. You have to know that not every day you're going to be the hammer. Sometimes you're going to be the nail. You have to not give up on the long term journey. but you can't focus on the end result. You got to kind of take baby steps and walk your way through it. And then most important is you got to have these conversations with yourself. I can't tell you how many times the bitch in the back of my head has told me that I wasn't capable or competent of doing certain things that I had to argue with myself and found that I could. You can always push yourself to do bigger and better things and have that conversation with yourself. Talk the bitch out of the back of your head. And if you're in a position like I was, where you are doing this because you truly love it and you're reasonably good at it, then you're meant to be doing this. And don't give up. You gotta be able to take criticism. You got to be able to make adjustments. You got to be able to call yourself out on your faults and your failings. And if you can't do those things, you're never going to really grow as an individual. I'm my worst critic by far. I can't tell you how many times I make fun of myself. I pick myself apart. I've had great performances, and I go back and look. I'm like, I did that wrong, and I did this wrong, and I think that's a part that drives me. Part that you need self recognition. But again, talk the bitch out of the back of your head and remind yourself that this is really what you want to do. You have to have that conversation and keep yourself a priority and do what needs to be done.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your fight on Tuesday.
Thank you so much for having me, and shout out to everybody, all New England, all of Portugal, and to my mom, my wife, and to my family, and everybody in between.
So thank you.